Hi guys, welcome back. This will be a really quick stream where we talk about what's happening next with Bitcoin. A small bounce happened already. I will show you where the continuation will be coming from and which altcoins are potentially outperforming Bitcoin here over the next 24 hours. Don't miss out on that, and you know the drill, guys. Let's go. Oh, where's my camera? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Welcome back, guys. 1 second. Oh, wait. That is where my camera is. There we go. There we go. Here's the camera. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in here on this Saturday today. So we are jumping directly into the charts here about the DXY. We don't really need to speak. We jump here into Bitcoin. So here on the weekly chart, we see something playing out that I was anticipating, and that was that here on the weekly, Bitcoin will maintain to stay above the upward sloping trend line. And we have now 1.5 days left to confirm that. It right now looks really, really good for us. I still expect a little bit more upwards pressure here in the coming hours and tomorrow for Bitcoin to solidifying that. And then next week, we should get a really, really nice juicy pump here into higher levels, potentially reaching a new all-time high. Moon cycle, we don't need to talk about this anymore. Correction. Yeah, correction here on the daily chart. What did I tell you guys? As long as the green super trend is holding, we will get a bounce. We got here a really, really crazy bounce in the daily candles. We went more or less to the bottom of that super trend band and got straight a pump to stay above that, closed that a candle, and got then today's candle opening here again in green. The same with the bull pennant or symmetrical triangle. You see here that we pump back into that pattern. That is also always bullish when you see something like this. Now we wait for the breakout. Again, I don't believe that that breakout is going to happen today. Most likely will happen tomorrow or after tomorrow. And then we're going to get a nice move here into the extended golden ratio, $130,000 to $135,000 approximately. For the falling wedge pattern, more or less the same rules apply. We held the golden ratio on the daily chart yesterday. Also really crucial to see something like this here. We are now consolidating within the golden ratio, and that usually warrants a continuation pump out of that here really soon. On the lower time frames, on the 1 hourly, we got a deviation below the original re-entry zone that I gave you, but if you would have paid a little bit attention, you could have traded here this W breakout, which is still not completely completed. I'm going to show it to you. But halfway. You know, so here, how much is that? We're up from that 0.65% for a total, yeah, so roughly 1%. So 1/3 of the move is done. So you would be not too late. If you still would like to trade this, you would be not too late, but you have to make sure that your stop loss is kind of here below that green re-entry zone of $116,600. 1 second, I have to check something with my AC quick here. Is it still okay? There's water running out of it, so which is not good. You know, so water coming out of my AC is not really healthy for the AC. So here for today, we could get, based on the RSI, I definitely see us pumping back here to the resistance of $118,174 approximately. From there, we need to reassess the situation. But when we go into higher time frames, I'll show you here in a moment, things looking not that bad. If you still want to enter the W trade, then go to BloFin. There is a link in the description and pinned in the chat. You get up to $5,000 in sign-up and deposit bonuses. Plus, if you deposit at least $500 and reach out to my team on Telegram and me or on Twitter, we're going to add you to my private trading group where we currently trade $500 into $10,000. We're around $2,000 more or less really soon, most likely by tomorrow, after tomorrow in that group. But you're also not too late to join that. But you need, first step, sign up with the link that's here in the description or in the pinned chat. Then deposit $500, then reach out. You know, so I see people always trying to get into the group because there is a link to the group in the description. It's not working. You know, it's manual approved with BloFin to check that you actually meet the criteria. So there's no point in just trying to join and like hope that we're not seeing that, you know. So we actually pay attention. Here on the MDX Algo Scalp Gradients, we almost ran into a green phase. Here comes the problem that I have with that. If we are not by tomorrow above that resistance area that I just pointed out on the 1 hourly time frame, expect one more rejection to the downside, which would then also be in confluence with the line that I charted out here, and we're gonna get a scenario like this. You know, for now, not so sure. You know, so it could be that here this whole move is basically this here, and then we get a more shallow move to the downside, a higher low, and then we come back up. Here at the resistance, get rejected, one more small move to the downside, and the next one is pushing through that. So if that is not happening and we go straight from here, then then the plan was more or less correct, but not 100% correct. On the reactor indicator here, you could have caught the bottom if you have this indicator. Here on the reactor indicator, we got 2 dot plots, and that usually means that you get a reversal to the upside. I also tell this to my students. Most of my students have these indicators because I highly recommend them. There's also a link in the description if you want to get this indicator with a, I think, 30% discount. You're gonna get them every single time on the 4 hourly time frame. Look here, 2 dot plots there, bottom, 2 dot plots wherever here the bottom was, here, bottom, every single time. This thing is never wrong, or yeah, I maybe out of 100 times it's 3 times wrong. You know, so the there's a really small error margin on this indicator to be wrong. You know, usually the indicator is always right. I buy on spot and also on leverage, or add to my positions on leverage every single time when I see these 2 dot plots being confirmed. And you see here, you had here more than enough time in that range to actually buy and open a position before it started to move here into higher levels. Here on this 1 hourly chart, we have reclaimed the short-term support that we have built here. Now we are again trying to break out of the short-term resistance. Once we are doing that, next move $119,000. Best case scenario, we go above 120, and then really soon all-time highs here again. Now on the liquidation levels, you can clearly see that here this area is, as expected and pointed out for like over 10 days now, the area where we are going to go next. There is nothing really stopping Bitcoin right now to go into that area, besides that it is the weekend, and during the weekend we have low volume, market makers not working a lot, you know, traders are not there over the weekend. So I expect here by next week a move where we go all the way up here to $120,600 to take all this liquidity and potentially even push through that to take the low leverage liquidity that's stacked up here too. So for today, you can already see for today, we are most likely going here to around $118,000. That is where we have here 50x leverage positions currently sitting, coinciding with the 50 moving average here. That could be a resistance point from where we get back down. And like I said, then turn around and go higher. Now let's look here, liquidation heat map. What's going on here? Liquidation heat map, also here, highest concentration of liquidity all above us. We will go definitely to the upside in the next coming days to go for this liquidity. There's no other way that we can go anywhere, and we're gonna get a short squeeze from around $118,400, $500. That area here will give us the needed fuel to push all the way up. Then the Bitcoin dominance is already going back to the downside. So also here, we were spot on when we called this area here of rejection, from where the dominance will start to turn down again. That reflects, of course, in many altcoins already, and this is what we're going to talk about here just in a second. So if you want to trade with me altcoins, guys, do this on a Bybit. There is a link in the pinned comment below, and no, in the description below, sorry, after the stream, in the pinned comment below. Up to $30,000 in sign-up and deposit bonuses, plus a Bybit card, 20% cashback, guys, 20%. The 20% are credited back in USDT. So that means you can use that money to buy altcoins again. You know, imagine, I don't know what your spending is, but let's say you spend $1,000 through your card. Usually you get $200 back that you can put back into crypto. And also I would definitely take advantage of that. Total free market cap above $1 trillion again. Here that area held Yesterday, I told you guys if we are able to close above $983 billion, then expect that we pump back here above $1 trillion and will start pushing in direction of a new all-time high here. So of course we need to reclaim $1.06 trillion here in the next coming days. But once that's done, we start flying. Ethereum Bitcoin chart, extremely bullish. I'm so surprised how this chart is actually looking. I was not expecting that we are more or less retracing that whole move to the downside that we had over the course of the week, and now have a massive hanging man candle here, where we potentially get, again, a crazy God candle next week. You know, next week I could see Ethereum at $4,000 potentially. And here, the fractal that I have here lined out might be not playing out that way. There is a high chance now that I have to redraw this quickly. Sorry. There's a high chance. So here, that section we were right, but there's a high chance that we do now something like this next week. Way more shallow, way more aggressive. And the reason for that is that on the stochastic RSI, we already get a buy signal again. The RSI turned back to the upside, is here definitely overbought. And also the MACD looks ready to give here a bounce for continuation to the upside. And then it doesn't matter if the RSI is overbought or not. If the MACD turns around and we have a buy signal here confirmed and we break through $3,870, we keep going. We're going to keep going until most likely $4,382. And from there, we're going to get a steeper pullback. It will then reach here $3,800, $700. I would imagine, and then consolidate here a little bit before we get another attempt for potentially consolidation for a week or something to properly cool down. And then you get here a reversal back to the upside into a new all-time high. So, but there must be an extensive amount of time where we just consolidate below $4,000 at some point to gain the momentum to break through. I cannot imagine that Ethereum would here start going absolutely parabolic like this over the next coming weeks. I cannot imagine that this is going to happen. But maybe I will be proven wrong, you know, but the Wyckoff reaccumulation pattern is still playing out here overall. And we have here in 3 candles basically now done here this whole section. And it could mean that the next move is here to the upside, like I said, you know, and then we consolidate and then break out. So, and that's why I showed you this now on the previous chart, because that is the underlying groundwork for that move to play out that way. Now for Solana, also here, nice move into resistance, came back down. I told you yesterday, buy here in that area if you can, and then trade the continuation. So if you would have bought here, you would be nicely up 3-4% currently. We are trying to break back into the area that I had formally marked out for a re-entry and broke a little bit below that, but you would have not be liquidated on 10x leverage if you would have bought in that area. Yeah, so that is giving us here currently a little bit of resistance. I'm going to show you from where this is coming. This is here, that area. So once we're breaking above that, we go back to $195 fairly quickly. But also there, I expect a turnaround because I don't like how the stochastic is looking here, even though the RSI is going up with a bullish divergence. And here, a buy signal also on the MACD currently. Let's see how it looks the daily. Okay, on the daily says we are flying. We're going to keep flying. So that means any consolidation or downwards move on the 4-hourly chart could be short-lived. And then in a day, potentially, this takes like a day or two for the 4-hourly to cool more or less down, and then you get a massive continuation. So here, that is right now, regardless where price is over the next 48 hours, you want to buy here if you want to build positions. Just don't over leverage, guys. Don't over leverage in that time. So here then, Solana here, no, I wanted to show you TON. TON had an aggressive move back to the upside above $3.27. So definitely, if we get a retest, which we most likely going to experience here soon, I would use that as an entry level. And then you could take profit a little bit at $3.47 because that is massive resistance. We know that now from the move from last Tuesday. just a little bit. You know, you set your stop loss somewhere around the current price, and then you let it ride to the upside into the potential target of the massive weekly W. No, wait, there's where the massive weekly W pattern is. That is that pattern, right? Just want to confirm. Yeah, we can go a little bit lower here. Something like this. So here, $4.21. $4.21. So that is a 20% move more or less from that line here. Yeah, 21. And if you would enter this, if you get this here with a limit order at 327, yeah, so 29%. And I believe that that will play out over the course of next week also, because everything is looking extremely bullish. Sui came really quickly back. I should have bought here yesterday in that green area. I was with my girlfriend, and that's why I didn't have a proper screen. You know, I didn't have a big screen. I was like, I don't know, you know, so everything looks still shaky when I look on my phone. So I'm not sure about that. I should have done it. And now that we broke the handle of that cup and handle pattern, if we close here, the current 4-hourly candle above that line, that is another entry point, guys. You can front run this trade here by entering here in the next 3 hours when that candle is closing. So think about that if you want to do that, because Sui is one of the really strong coins that came fast back to the upside, more or less to the level where it was before in that whole pullback scenario. So really strong coin. The same with Curve. Curve is only struggling to stay above $1 or $1.08 right now, but once it breaks $1.08, it will fly to the upside. The same way that it flew here from 98 cents from yesterday back to $1.08, which is like, that was like a 14% move. I have a position on Curve, so I saw that in my portfolio, you know, how that thing was flying. So now it is extremely bullish that we are retesting $1.05 now as support. If we can hold this as support, then we get from here the continuation. So if you don't have a Curve position and you want to enter one, build it slowly, guys. Take here right now 20% of the money that you want to put into the trade. Only 20%. Sorry, I know my drawing skills are horrible with the mouse. 20% here. If it breaks down one more time and goes close to $1, $1.01, you take another 25%. Now let's say it turns around from there and goes back to $1.05 and closes there a 30-minute candle. There you put another 25%. So now you are 75% overall in that position with the money that you want to allocate for that. And then above $1.08, that is where you put in the rest and let it ride. You let it ride to $1.26 from there. I know a little bit more advanced to trade like that. So, but you would have an entry of around $1.03 by the end of that. And that would give you an overall profit of 23% plus the leverage, let's say 5x. So that would be like 115% that you would make on that position here. And also Curve will have one big green candle once we are breaking above $1.11. That $1.11 area is for a long time big resistance. The same area for ton here at $3.47. Once these areas are broken, you get massive impulse moves to the upside that could well go past $1.26. Curve is one of these coins where I could see that this coin will do in one go a 40-50% move once we are breaking that area. So I'm definitely having my eyes peeled all the time when we are getting close to that area to see if I put my stop loss then here and get wicked out, you know. So in the worst case, when we go above here and let's say we come back down, you know, I get wicked out, but then I have so much more money that I can compound and just re-enter from there and trade the continuation. So I'm definitely having an eye on that level here. We're gonna break it for sure, but on the daily candle, when we break it, we could go up and just come straight back down. And for that reason, I'm gonna have my stop loss down here once we are getting there. So now let me see here quick the chat. So can you please tell me if alt will have its bull run this cycle along with ETH? That is a meme coin, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, so if ATH is a meme coin, in fact, it will have its bull run. So don't worry about that. You know, so it's I will not tell you how high it potentially is going to run, but it will definitely do some all-time highs. You know, not one all-time high. There will be an all-time high after that, and then at some point it's going to stop. But it will be potentially really late in the cycle when everything else ran already. You know, quality projects like Curve, Ton, Link, Sui, they will all have made already new all-time highs before you see most likely ATH do a crazy new all-time high. Guys, I have to run. I'm short on time for today. There will be also no stream later. That's why this one was a little bit later than usual. But tomorrow, if everything goes right, tomorrow we're going to get 2 streams. Thank you so much for tuning in here again. So don't forget, smash up the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you then with more money tomorrow.